It's a very Corey Christmas. The two Coreys in the 90s. We're gonna get through this. Much like the two Coreys, Seth Green has spent his entire life on screen in one form or another. And while his story is wildly different, of course, their paths crossed. I found an interesting old article from Entertainment Weekly where Seth discusses the two Coreys appearing in Robot Chicken, where he talks a bit about Haim. If you didn't know, Seth Green was cast as Haim's best friend in the schlock masterpiece Double O Kid, where he spit some exposition and then got his parts cut. But Seth Green got to know him a bit, and it's pretty cool to hear what he had to say. I met him first when I was probably 14 or 15, and it was at the height of their success. I was so enamored by kids that were doing what I wanted to do. And then, after his career had started to wane, and he was doing more slim chance of release movies, he did a movie called The Double O Kid, and I had a small part in it that wound up getting cut. Let me think. I was probably like 17 or 18 years old. I was like his buddy driving him to his new job, and we're talking about what the job was, and it's all exposition. Really? You're taking a summer job interning with the CIA? That's great. Or whatever it was. We spent 2 days together working. We started to shoot one day, and he was complaining of stomach pains, and eventually wound up leaving, and we couldn't shoot anything that day. And I was really upset. I was such a defender of Haim. And then to show up on set, and then have him sort of act the way people were accusing of him acting, was just really disheartening. Then, like a day or so later, they reset everything to shoot, and he was just immeasurably professional that day. Like, just all over the place. Working way above and beyond, busting his ass, knew all his lines, was hitting his marks, was really sharp, and elevating it. As much as you can elevate the Double O Kid. That's kind of what he was. This duality of incredibly sweet and earnest professional, who really loved performing and who would go above and beyond for the project and his castmates. And also this kind of troubled, tortured drug addict that could be an entirely different person, depending on who he was and where he was with his addiction. But like I said, when we got back to shooting, I was blown away by how awesome he was. You look at John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, and Donnie Wahlberg in The Sixth Sense. People have leans against them in crazy ways, and the audience is always forgiving, if you prove it. I just felt like if he had been able to audition for more serious parts, for smaller things, for just things that, no one had ever seen him do, that he definitely had the goods to get the work. But he didn't have an agent. He didn't have any representation. You can't cold call casting people. People had an opinion about him that needed to be changed. So, until someone was really willing to give him a chance, he didn't have an opportunity. I don't know if you remember this, but back in 2008, he took out a full-page ad in Variety just to announce his willingness. As people get older and fall out of the spotlight, people's memory of them changes. He was a really sweet and earnest performer, and that came through in everything he did. Whether it's Silver Bullet, Lucas, or even Lost Boys. He really just loved performing so much and wasn't cynical. I just hope that people will always remember the kid as somebody who was a really good actor and loved performing, but just got caught up. The full article is linked in the description, and it's well worth a read. It's stories like this that keep me enamored with the child star phenomenon, and those who made it through, as it seems not every pathway was laid out equally for these kids. And talent and hard work must come tenfold to make a mark in the business at such a young age. And to do it all while still being a good person, that's the HAIMSTER. Rest in peace, Corey. We sure do miss you.